Welcome in YouTube. This is Juicy. Something's been requested is just what do I do on each roster, right? So I have two accounts. Just want to kind of go over each one, going over what league they're in CC and War, or sorry, CC. What do I build differently? What do I do? Things like that. So on my main account, right? So I'm in Council of Doom. I'm 58 million TCP. My strongest T power is this, right? So I think I just let this show. So nothing crazy. I'm not a crazy spender, but I do spend money on this account. Um, you know, but I obviously not that. Council of Doom's a great place. A lot of streamers on it. Not gonna go too detailed. If you watch a lot of streams, you probably know of our alliance. So what do I do in terms of each one? So first of all, in CC, I'm currently 60. In CC, my highest I've ever been is 22. Um, so so fluctuate, right? End of last season, I didn't have scroll, so I plummeted it down to like 300s, and then I got scroll. I climbed back up. Now just in top 60. So yeah. Let's see here. War, we're top 100 to 200 ish. So we don't take it super seriously, but we do ask that everybody do 10 attacks, hopefully like 12 attacks. Try to go 10 for 10 win all your attacks. So going over my roster, so obviously I have King, Robbie. So the ones that I've kind of direct promoted are the top four, right? So I did all of that for King, Robbie, Gambit, Kestrel. So I worked on those first. Um, I so then Icarus, I think I did the second diamond. I think I pulled the first one, upgraded the second. Weaver did that. Photon, I pulled that. I wouldn't promo them. These are kind of my lucky draws, right? So I got Mr. Negative, Black Widow, Firestar was nice pull. Cersei was a nice pull. Gamora was a nice pull. Sylvie was, I'm kind of okay with that pull. Um, so just kind of go over my diamonds a little bit. And then Captain America pulled him. Cyclops we got from that event. Right, so I run. Let's see here, we got Super Scroll, so I got Gwenpool, Beta. So actually my biggest raid team is actually my Bifrost. Um, it's actually like oversized, but built up big for raids, and then I kept pulling them. Okay, so I did G18 Doom, and then I'm also working on Dorm. So Dorm is actually the tune I'm taking up next over like Black Cat. The reason why is because Black Cat's already functioning well where she's at, and her lifespan's not going to grow. And then Dorm, if you build him up bigger, you actually get a little bit more play out of him. And I do think that, personally, again, don't build off my advice, is that I think that they're going to make it where they're not going to increase the number of mythic characters outside of just adding the DD6 characters. I think you're going to have to build the 5. Don't build out of that. That's how I'm building. I'm just going to take advantage of the teams. You also have to think, you use Dorm, you use Doom at the higher levels, every single CC, every single war. So it's not like I'm not getting a lot of value out of those tunes. Let's see here. So I think the other way to do this is kind of go over the newer teams. So where am I building each one? So obviously start with Extreme. So my Extreme team, right? So I got lucky on Forge. I spent about 8,000 cores on him. Then I bought I think a $20 offer to push me up. I think I got whatever it was for 50 shards or so. And then I cored again, and then I pulled another 40 something orbs. So Sunspot I will get in the next couple days, right? So I cored 5 orbs. Didn't get good RNG, but with the free claim tomorrow, and then the one more orb I get from Marina, I'm going to unlock Sunspot and probably have them running by next one. Don't have the unique. Let's see here, the team that came before that. So the team I just recently built up was my Pegasus. So Pegasus, I didn't build that large until last CC because I just find that I'm using them against like Gamma, Death Seed, those teams, and so I wanted to make sure that yes, Jerry, Pokemon Jerry, yes, I'm doing a roster tour. Okay, so let's see here, thinking about what teams came before that. Oh, there you go. And then I'll go over that in a second, Pat. Let's see here. Let me see what's up with the music right quick. Yep. Alright. I'm trying to think if there's any other teams. So Sinister 6, right? So when it came to Sinister 6, I ended up doing took the main 5 up to G18. Then I also took a Vulture for DD6. And then Mysteria I built big enough. And then these other 5, I just can't afford to go back and build them. It is what it is. For war teams in general, what I do with war teams is I build them big enough to do whatever job they are. Just because I can't afford to afford more. So for example, Nowhere, I built them big enough to beat a Gamma, right? Back when beating a Gamma was their required thing to do. So you know, I built Nova large, then you build Thor, and the other 3 don't really matter at all. And then I think I did Star-Lord Annihilation for a leaderboard event, and because of his skill, and skill wasn't that valuable. Let's see here. Other war teams, so New Avengers is probably the last team that I can think of that people are probably wondering about. So yeah, this is an example, right? I'm pulling this team is just big enough to pull a Nowhere, to pull a Sinister 6, right? Because Tiger is big enough, Ronin's big enough that if they try to go to an Infinity Watch, they're probably going to lose. So again, I just built them big enough that they're going to hold on defense if they try to come in there with that Eye Watch. You know, don't invest too much into it. You know, Undying, another good team that I did build is Undying. So I like all war offense teams, obviously a lot better. You can get value out of these 3 in CC, so I built them large as well. And then I'm trying to think. Obviously, Secret Defenders you built to the moon because of Arena. I don't want to go too detailed because you know you're gonna see all these are uppers. Trying to think if I want to do anything else. So one thing I'll show is just in red stars, right? So in case you're wondering what my lucky pulls were, I pulled a 3 Diamond Sylvie, LDS, Misty Knight, Deadpool, and Mantis. They're a fantastic 5-piece. Then trying to think here, you know, so got some other pulls. Got a Korg, Dr. Voodoo, Swarm. So some good pulls. So I pulled Exorbitant, things like that. Most of these I did not direct promo, right? My promos that were spent on diamonds were probably that top, this middle 5 right here, right? So I spent 110 on all 5 of these. I'm not particularly sure what I should do with my diamonds now, because I'm kind of in this weird spot, right? Like I could put 2 diamonds on Spider Weaver, but she doesn't really need it, but she'd be nice to have it. Hawk, right? It's nice to have it, but you don't really need it. Firestar, nice to have, probably don't need it. If you're going to win that fight, you're probably going to win it anyway. You're not going to win again. Firestar is probably the only one that's like sticking out to me of all these. A lot of these I just pulled. And then you also think here, these tunes, right? All the ones that are here don't really need it to function. And then the tunes that I would really want to do, right? Your, like I really like would have Craven or something like that. You know, I just don't have it. I'm not going to buy up a character to 7 stars. So I may hold them. So if you have any suggestions in the comments, this is a great time to do that. because yeah, currently sitting on 220 silver promotion credits, right? So when I look at this, like I could do Cyclops, but like Cyclops isn't going to be using Crucible. He's going to do his job in raids really well with 1 diamond. You know, none of these tunes look really good. Nemesis is out the door. Some uses in war, or sorry, so some uses in war. Maybe have some uses in CC, but honestly, Death Seed and Gamma are probably the next ones out the door next season. It takes like 1 or 2 more Crucible teams, and then those teams are going to be just permanently benched. Again, Girl promo has gotten to the point where I'm just upgrading those F tier tunes, Strife, blah 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 blah. And so, still haven't decided. Again, I'm just gonna see how I build these up. Because like ideally, you would want more tunes at 1 diamond than 1 tune at 3. Because the thing about it is there's not enough tunes at splash, right? So like the ones you would really want to do to 3 would be like Robbie, Kang. Kang's having trouble doing it, you know, but they already do their jobs, and that extra. They already do their jobs, and then when you add that extra thing, they don't unlock a new level, or new counters, as much as like when you get dark promos or something like that. Like when you get APOC to 7, you unlock scroll countering with him. Whereas, you know, if you don't have the same matching red starts, it just doesn't work. Then I'm, you know, Papa Woody saying that there's a screenshot of a 7 red scroll in the data mine, so that is coming eventually. I'm not sure if it's coming soon. Just looking down here on red stars. So these are the tunes I don't have at 7 reds. So you're seeing I'm getting a lot of minions, a lot of tunes that I just don't have the stars for. So anyway, again, typical light spender roster in the terms of. Okay, just to give you all a heads up what I've been running on defense, so people are asking in chat. So I've been running Darkhold Dorm in 1. So just to eat up efficiency, right, my goal on this account, because I'm so high up there, my defense is not going to hold. You have to understand that when you're punching up 20, 30 million full diamond roster, your defenses are not going to hold. So what you need to do is have teams that slow them down, and you need to be perfect, right? The people that say defense, like you put the burden of perfection on them, you do that when you are the higher spender, right? When you want to be up at the very top and you're not a big spender, you want to be in the top 100, you now have the burden of being perfect. You now have the burden to perform. Your defense will not do that because they will outspend you. Their defenses will be better. If you do not want to do that, if you do not want to have the burden of perfection, then you don't have to be in the top 100. It is what it is. But since that, so my goal on my defense is to be a defense that slows them down, doesn't necessarily create stops, right? Right, Darkhold with Dorm takes a bunch of turns. Even if they do the Tangled Kestrel variant, it still takes 2018, 2016 efficiency. It saps efficiency much better than a Darkhold will. You got the Gamma. Gamma takes a big team. They are falling off. I wouldn't invest more into this team, but it's a big team that takes a lot. And one of the big things I make sure that is none of my teams can be beat by Eternals alone, right? So you don't want anything that Eternals can just come in there with some extra speed and blow it up. So your new Avengers, your Infestations, right? Those things get blown up if they have Eternals with some speed. Death Seeds into the target, right? Those are the hot targets right now for your Eternals. You want to avoid having those in defense if you're playing the way that I'm doing it. Black Order with Quicksilver, right? So I took Quicksilver to 7 red for this defense, and then for Arena a little bit. So getting some good uses out of him. Would I do it today if I didn't have him built like that? Probably not. You got your SD Noir, you got your you know, Extreme, so you get nothing crazy. Again, if you wanted to see my last week videos, they are on my channel as well. Okay. And I think that's it for this account. So the big thing is, right, so I have 2 accounts. I'm gonna swap over right here. It's gonna be a little black for a little bit. The reason to do that is I don't want you to see my first name. So don't want to dox myself, even though, yeah. So loading in my alt account. So in this account, it was from my alliance mate that quit about a year ago. I have not spent on this account. So it is a 44 million of TCP, so it's not completely small, but it's definitely not anywhere near what my main account is. So just looking at the set, right, so collection power instead of 1k, it's 17k. Its strongest team power is 8k instead of 1k, right, it's alliance. So my alliances are actually pretty close together. Okay. So this account, just so y'all know, so obviously my main account had scroll all the way done. This account is still trying to finish up its second run of DD6, so I finished the first run, which is actually kind of fun because the star levels are actually, because the way they're making stars more available, I'm actually going in there with bigger teams. Okay. To beat it, you know. So a little bit to go over. So it's the cool thing, right? So when it comes to raids, just to clarify, I'm a normal incursions of both accounts, both top on the Greek raids, war. Both of them just require the 10 to 12 attacks. Try to get your wins in. Nothing crazy, right? Just get your attacks in. Not that coordinated, but definitely not like you can't just not do war. My farms on this account, right? So I'm farming up Photon. I'm gonna go ahead and do this right here. Finish up my Cyclops. I probably won't put Teal Gear into him unless I have to. You know. So I need to finish the second run. So when it comes to promos, I did Kestrel, Kang, pulled the Weaver, bought the Gambit, bought the Ankh, I think I did the Icarus myself. So let's go Red Stars. So here are some of my pulls, right? So I got a decent Affinity Watch team off of Diamonds, but I don't have Infinity Watch built as big, right? Because I don't have the same resources that my main account does. You know, a lot of these are pulled. I could build Infinity Watch bigger, but I probably won't. I mean, as you can see, I'm running out of things. It's the burden of trying to finish DD6, right? Trying to get through. Actually, no, I'm gonna avoid doing that, even though I should. You know, go. When it comes to Dark Promotion, right? So I still did Apocalypse to 7 red. Ended up pulling these. So a little bit of my red stars, right? So a lot of my top tunes, right? Your raid tunes are built very similarly, right? If I took a screenshot of my raid teams on this account and my raid teams on my old account, they're almost identical, right? For Deception, they're probably not as big, right? So just to give you kind of a perspective, right? My Death Seed on my main account's 1.8 million. This is 1.4. My Rebirth is probably 1.8. This account, it's 1.4. So they get the job done, but they're not built as big. Not sure that. So I got my Bifrost is 1.6. On my main account, it is 200. Pegasus is 1.7. This is 1.1. So again, still building the same teams. When it comes to raids, you got to do it. Just not as big, not going as far with them. Just trying to get the job done. Right, you got to be smart. You build them to get through there. When it comes to war teams, war is kind of very difficult to keep up with if you are a non-spender. So, for example, here is my new Avengers. I'm pretty sure I did Ronin just for that one event. I just added levels. I don't plan on building this team. Sadly, I just don't have the resources, right? I need to build Extreme up for the raids. I had just built my Sinister 6 for Crucible, right? I love Crucible on this account too, so I want to make sure that's done. Um, I'm gonna have to come back here and probably do Doom or Dorm, right? They're not built up, and they're still useful. They're still needed. They're gonna serve me more than probably New Avengers. As crazy as it sounds, because I can use them in 2 game modes. New Avengers, you need to build super high. Let me see here. You know, my Nowhere again is just built big enough to beat the Gamma, big enough to be able to beat a New Avengers or something like that. You know, can do the job just fine. So the thing you see that's going to suffer, right, is definitely in war. Probably should have tabbed over there when I did my main account. You know, like my Infinity Watch is 2 million on my main account. It's back quarters are almost actually the same. I just took up Thanos bigger. Let me see what it is. These are really old. I need to clear this sucker out. Weapon X, right? I'm gonna scroll down here because this is what the teams I'm actually using, right? So I'm still using the, you know, Eternals. I'm gonna build large. Pegasus. I was doing that because I didn't have the whole team built. Yeah, getting the job done. There, you know, Death Seed. So a lot of these teams move over, right? My War Dogs is nowhere near as big on my main account. Main account's 1.4. So again, when you look at the very tippy top of these rosters, what I just want to emphasize is like they're almost the same. They're almost identical, right? My raid, my CC, my arena teams are built high. It's the non-power players of a raid team that I don't build as high with this account. I don't build like Sylvie is not as big as it was on my main account. Even on teams that are CC on this account, I just can't afford it. So let's go over to here's a good example. So my main account, right? I have I believe the 2 new ones at G18. I have G17 on the other 3, and they're all level 95. This one, this account, again, got Firestar, the main damage dealer. She's the most important member, bar none, followed by Gwenpool, so they're the biggest investment. And then came in there and I upgraded Cloak, because Cloak's, you know, that next hit in, and his abilities need to land. And I pulled a dagger. Now, if I had a chance, I would build up a dagger a little bit more. Remember, daggers are when you drop a lot. So, there, you know, so Masters of Evil, another example, right? You're going to just build the main power person. Your Kang, Titania is your next best one to build. Zoriman and Moonstone are built just big enough to get the job done. Whereas on my main account, again, this whole team is 95, G17 or G18, right? So I don't have the resources to go all 18 on my main account still. But, you know, you're going to see, I think Kang, Moonstone, and Titania are all 18, and I'm pretty sure Zoriman's 17. Ultron is 16, but that's because I drop him a lot. He's not a good long-term investment. Let me see here. Sinister 6, if it's not G18, it's because I just don't have the... No, they're all G18. So this is a good example of a team that trying to keep up with the meta, right? So this account just finished GT6, probably would bring up some of those other teams that I just talked about. Yeah. Trying to think if there's any other team that I would like to showcase. You know, Secret Defenders, still farming their shards. You know, so still pretty close for Hard Light, pretty, you know, farming Robbie, farming Photon, hopefully get them to 7 stars, whereas main account, those have all been 7 stars for a couple months now. And that's okay, right? When it comes to this account ranking in CC, so won my 3rd match against my alliance mate. Shout out to him, Dr. Ajax. Okay, that puts me in... Nope, not there. So I'm just above 1K. So Main account 60. This one's 1,100. So when it comes to league, right, this is Diamond 2. I think the highest I've gotten this account to is either Diamond 3. I don't think I broke Masters with this account, but I'm pretty sure I've been in Diamond 3 before. So, again, story behind this account is I got to about 700 or so. The passes that came out with the G18s like crazy opened up all the susses. This account got pressed. I went on a losing streak on this account. I just couldn't keep up. Defensive wise, but now that I got sus, I'm doing something very similar, right? So on this account I test a little bit of things, right? So that's one thing, is when I go into these fights, I still try to test some ideas, try some things. It's interesting to see like what my main account could do, but this account can't. But anyway, still have Gamma in 2. I have iWatch in 4. You know, I still have SD Nor in 1. I could probably switch those around. But not gonna do that today, not on stream. But anyway, planning on doing that. I'm gonna get off. Let's go ahead, go into this example for this. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to go over. When it goes over arena, right? So this account, part of the reason I'm not ranked high on this one is because being an alt account, I get on this account maybe 3 times a day. You know, I get in when I first wake up. I get in there and I knock out my raid attacks. Log in sometimes around lunch. You know, do my raid attacks, do my war attacks, and then I usually do one before I go to bed. Whereas my main account, right, that's the one I stayed logged into throughout the day. So I'm checking that one more, making sure I stay higher in arena. So yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to think what else. So yeah. I think that will be kind of just a tour of the 2 accounts, where I'm trying to go with each one. Again, if this helps you, let me know. If you have an idea of what you want to hear, you know, as a CC guy, like, do you want like a CC highlight video, or tips and tricks of CC? I think that's the next one I'm thinking of. Or if you want something other that you want me to showcase, if you want to showcase some war attacks, I could try to record those. I'm not sure if I could do those all at once, so I just try to get them as I see them. But anyway, the other thing would be just if my videos, you know, because this is one of those, like, you know, usually there are CC fights. If you find those helpful, one of the best ways you could thank me is by subscribing, you know, liking and subscribing on the video that helped you with it. Those help me a ton. So anyway, but peace out, y'all. Later, YouTube.